Welcome into a very special edition of the Capital PTBO podcast. I'm Jordan Mercier alongside Mark Millian. You can find us at 370 George Street at the Capital PTBO. We're not open today. We're just doing some, live radio, basically, live podcast.
Live radio. We've got Justin here. He's doing a little bit of inventory, a little bit of carrying on here. We're letting
an unsavory fellow just walked in.
Yeah,
here
we're letting everybody in.
Oh my goodness.
And so good. The retail, the Easter season was always my favorite in the retail season because you closed on the Good Friday. The Saturday was always a banger. It's the best retail of the day of the year that's not back to school or Christmas time.
Is that right?
Yeah. And then you're closed on the Sunday. And then the Monday,
a little bit of will they, won't they?
Yeah.
Some are open, some are not open.
Yeah, that's right. So for us, I don't know what we're going to do. Stay tuned. We might open on Monday. I don't know. Oh, no, we're not. Because we're having Easter lunch.
Okay.
Ooh.
Easter lunch.
Sounds good. Producer Matty, what's going on over there, brother?
Not much. It's
this guy's on vacation. He's coming in on his vacation now.
Holy smokes.
I worked a hard, tiring 2-hour shift this morning, and now I'm not working again until April. I don't even know what the date is. It's so far ahead.
I noticed you're wearing the denim vest again, or the denim shirt.
Big Den is what they call me.
Big Denny.
Big Denny.
We got the matching ECFC hats, too. You guys are both matching with red.
Everyone's
that's right. Matching with someone.
Oh, it's a real effort here.
We got a lot of stuff that we need to get to. We're going to talk about Mike Bossy coming up. Of course, his legacy, passed away at the age of 65. We can confirm that now. And then a little bit later, we're going to talk about the Raptors and Sixers. Game 1 of that series will go on Saturday.
Yes.
I'm super excited about that. I do want to start, though, with hockey,
Yeah.
but not totally connected to what's going on the ice. There's something cool going on here at the Capital PTBO.
Yes.
This is the most fire response that we've ever got, even more so than the March Madness.
So, yeah, that's right. We limited it. We put the call out on Monday. 32 players. This is the brainchild of Justin, where we wanted to do something, a Stanley Cup tournament that was different. So you get a lot of people in here that they know a lot of sports and these sorts of things, and guys that pretend like me that they think they know. And so the idea is 32 people. You get everybody gets a sheet. There'll be 7 boxes. First box you pick 2. The subsequent 6 boxes you pick 1 each. Then you will pick 2 teams. Opening round, everything's worth a point. Goal, assist, team win is a point. If your team advances, you get 1. Second round, it doubles 2-2-2. Third round is 3-3-4 for the team win. Final round is 4-4 and 8. Here's why it's fun. 2 things. And I'm super jazzed about both. Okay, there's going to be a live draw on Sunday, April the 30th.
Selection Sunday.
Selection Sunday, part 2. The NCAA's got nothing on the Capitol. Nothing. You're going to play head-to-head against other members of the store. So, draw number 1. There will be no seating. We will pull from the bowl. It could very well be Jordan Mercier versus Graham Elliott.
Wow.
Whoever gets the most points in that opening round will advance to the second round. So your strategy is super important. Do you take 4, 6, 8 players from the same team and hope that they run all the way to the final?
It was, first of all, I'm never very good at these tournaments. I'll just say that up front. But there was a couple of years ago, where I thought the LA Kings were going to roll it back and win.
Sure.
And I think they got swept by Vegas. And it was a series where maybe they scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
I probably statistically finished about as worse as you could, because I think I picked almost all of them but one with that team. But that's your theory. You either go all in, or
maybe you want to sprinkle it around. Maybe you want to take 6 guys from 8 or 8 guys from 6 different teams.
Yeah.
To try to, because as you move along in the second round, your points, if you get 20 points in the opening round and you beat the person 20-14, your 20 points move on to round 2.
Right.
Your round 2 opponent may only have 14. So you have that inherent advantage. Maybe you have 6 guys moving on, but the real fun is at the end. So in a 32-man tournament, 32-person tournament, because there's girls in there too.
Correct.
32, next round goes to 16. Next round, the conference final goes to 8. In the final, there'll be 4 people left. It'll be like a fatal 4-way. It's the hardest trophy to win in tournament sports. So at the end, it'll be you versus 3 other people. And you've got to bring it. You've got to ride the horses. You got to dance with the girl who brought you here all the way to the final.
It's going to be a lot of fun. The reaction's already been great. A lot of prizes up for grabs, too.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, so $1,000. There's a $1,000 pool already. We're working for sponsors right now so that we can increase the prize money. We don't want to make a nickel off it. We already sell all this other stuff.
Yeah.
To give the prize money away makes it way more interesting, way more exciting. And we've got 2 spots remaining.
I want to give a special shout out to a gentleman who's joining the web stream today on Twitter, my good friend Matt Snedden, and he's in North Bay. And he just said, is that he doesn't call him Rapid Robert, he says Fast Bob. He says, is that Fast Bob lurking in the background? He used the word lurking on purpose.
Nobody has more nicknames.
Maddie, thank you.
Nobody has more nicknames.
Did you make that ding?
No.
Here, I thought the cash register opened here.
No,
Well, that was pretty good.
Somebody's peeking into the cash box?
Well, if you were
do we have
going
eyes on
back,
Bob?
listen, if we were going back and doing this capital version of the tournament in the past,
Yeah.
one player you probably would want to pick up would be Mike Bossy.
Oh, absolutely.
And what he was able to do during his postseason career. Sad news, passed away at the age of 65. I know he had been battling long-term illness. He had been in palliative care, so we knew that it was probably only a matter of time. Only 65.
65.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, just throwing it out there, Mark, you obviously watched some of his career. I don't think you're quite old enough to remember the heyday, but certainly more than Matt and I. But somebody who is legendary because of not only the winning he did, the consistency in which he scored goals, but also one of those guys who just said, kind of Barry Sanders, I'm 30, it's over, I'm gone.
His hip was really bad. So he had a chronic hip injury that kept him out of the lineup. In the last year, I think he only played 60-some games.
And still had 38 goals.
Still made the All-Star team. The only year he didn't play All-Star, they make the All-Star team was 79 when they had the Challenge Cup. So one of these guys, like there was a couple of guys in the 80s that got robbed of, I mean, the guy retired at 30, 572 goals, I think it is.
Yeah.
573, yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's 10 years.
10 years, 750 games.
And let's put some context in there. And Matt, I'll ask you to bring up his hockey reference page.
I already got it.
Okay. This is when to be draft eligible, you had to be 20.
Correct.
So you're already not seeing him at 18 or 19. He has to be 20 to get in there.
Well, he was 21 when he started.
And he was 21. Now, he was somebody who, just look at his scoring in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. And tell me this guy didn't just score at every single level. I think he scored 70 goals all 4 years.
All 4 years, yeah.
So, yeah, in the Quebec, he played for Laval.
Yep.
As a rookie, he had 70 goals, 48 assists in 68 games.
Yeah.
84 and 65 the next year, which was his best year. His third season there, he had 79 goals, 57 assists, and then 75 and 51 in 61 games.
4 years in Major Junior Hockey,
and
he scored
300
70
goals. Like ridiculous.
A minimum 118 points per season.
There's something too about that Quebec Major Junior League where the freak goal scorers grow on trees in that league.
Oh yeah,
guys. There's I can't think of his name right now. There's a guy that scored 100 goals. Quebec Major Junior never made it to the NHL,
which is insane.
It's insane because there's other guys that
LaFontaine
and Lafleur and
Mario's like 282 points.
Oh my gosh. But for Mike,
yeah,
there's a couple of things like when you get in the weeds, and unfortunately, you really only get into the weeds, unfortunately, when something like this happens, which is unfortunate. But there's a lot of people over time that a lot of things will come out in the next couple of days. His numbers on the power play, from a historical standpoint, it's about 30% of his goals were scored on the power play. But his percentage, 15% of his goals were game winners. Just the stuff that from a pure goal scorer standpoint in a league where it's been proven time and time and time again that it's not easy to score. This guy made it simple.
So we'll talk about the 4 straight cups here coming up because that's a big part of his legacy, being a part of that team. But there's a couple of things that timing isn't your friend. And for Mike Bossy, timing wasn't his friend in that most of his amazing seasons were up against Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
And when Wayne Gretzky was scoring 92 goals and, Mike Bossy scoring 68, sort of like you're the next guy. Or Jari Kurri has a 73 in there.
Yeah.
So that didn't help Mike. I would also argue that being on the New York Islanders probably didn't either.
Sure.
We respect that. It's one of the greatest dynasties that pro sports has ever had.
That's right.
That being said, can you imagine what the conversation would be like if he had played for the Rangers instead?
Sure.
Or a Canadian market, or in Detroit, or whatever, like one of the bigger ones. And that's not to disrespect because, again, everyone knows he's legendary. Everyone puts his goal-scoring prowess, top 2 or 3 ever, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to talk, for me, just, based on all the research I've ever done, you kind of go, Ovechkin, Bossy, and Lemieux probably are the guys that I kind of go toward, which is funny because Wayne Gretzky is not even in the conversation. But just when you're looking at goals per game, I mean, Pavel Bure probably for players I actually had the opportunity to watch.
Yeah.
But it's incredible. His stats, honestly, he played 10 years, 9 50-goal seasons, which is still tied for the record.
9 straight.
9 consecutive, which is the record. And then 560 plus.
Yeah, 560
which is hilarious
plus.
too. He wasn't just scraping by at 50, 51.
Yeah.
He was going to 65 and 68.
When you texted me this morning saying that we're going to talk about Mike, it immediately occurred to me, what if the hometown kid had played for Montreal?
He wasn't he was a first-round draft choice, but he's 15th overall.
That's right, 15th.
A lot of teams passed on him.
So Mike Bossy, never even runner-up for the Hart Trophy. He had a 3rd place in voting in 81, 82. And that was that's a down year at 64 goals. Right?
That's the generation.
That's the 92 Gretzky goal season.
Yeah, but he did win his only Smythe that year. Also, because you were looking for it, Mark, Gary McGregor, 100 goals in the Quebec Major Junior League.
Good research there.
Yeah, the boy.
Producer Maddie. But when you look at his playoff statistics, again, this is a guy who scored a lot of playoff goals. 17 goals, 3 straight years.
3 straight years.
Which 19 is the record.
That's right.
Reggie Leach.
Yes.
And I believe it was tied by Jari Kurri later on. But just a bona fide goal scorer just all the time.
Yeah.
Now okay, go on.
I was going to say,
got a thought.
a couple of guys that, like him, Michel Goulet, there's a couple of guys in there that I like the idea of looking if we could find Gretzky at 750 games. So what did Gretz retire with 1,200 games? I think it was 1,220 or something.
Maybe a little bit more, but yeah.
Where does Mike finish on the list? He doesn't get to 700 and stop.
No.
If he, same with Orr and all these other guys.
If he keeps up the .76 goals per game.
0.76 and he plays 1,000 games, it's 760 goals.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's so tough to play the if-and game, but
Sure.
that being said, you marvel at the consistency that he was able to do. Of course, 50 and 50, he was the second player to achieve that.
Yeah.
Almost 40 years after Rocket Richard. And he had to score, 2 goals in the final 10 minutes of the game or something?
Yeah.
And that was amazing. And again, when I talk about timing not being his friend, it was the very next year that Wayne blew it out, right?
Yeah.
50 and 39.
Yeah.
So you didn't get to appreciate the 50 and 50 that Mike Bossy did, I believe, as a sophomore.
Yeah.
But definitely early on in his career. The New York Islanders, we talked about it. Hey, they have a litany of Hall of Famers at this point. Brian Trottier and Mike Bossy and Billy Smith, probably the 3 that you point to more so than the others. Is there an argument to be made that is the most impressive dynasty? I know it's not the 5 in a row, but the 5 in a row happens in an original 6 era.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I still tend to think the late 70s Habs are probably the most impressive. Because
I would agree.
And they were doing it in the regular season where they were only losing 8 games and whatever. But to think that only 2 teams won the Stanley Cup over an 8-year period.
Sure.
Because you got 4 straight Montreal and then right away 4 straight New York.
Yeah, and catching Edmonton on the back end to go to the next, then you had that Alberta dynasty.
Yeah.
Where you had 84, 85, 86 lost to Habs for the Calgary, 87, 88, 89 Calgary, 90 Edmonton, like a real firepower in that province. But I would agree. I think the Habs from the late 70s, just the win-losses are spectacular. The thing for the Islanders, too, is they had that slow build, right? Like, Billy Smith is 73. He's rookie. These guys start to come along. They add Nystrom. Tonelli comes late in 79. Bossy was the year before. Clark Gillies he's also in there in the mid 70s. So they had a little bit of grit and they had firepower and they had a goaltender that, I mean, individually, Billy Smith wasn't spectacular in terms of Vezinas and these sorts of things. He's not Ken Dryden.
Money goalie, right?
You know, money goalie, yeah. He's Grant Fuhrer.
By the way, my dad is probably screaming that I didn't mention Denny Potvin in the.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, maybe you make a case for him being near.
Mike's on.
Shout out to Denny.
He's on the Rushmore of Islanders of all time. Like I think it's probably a non-starter for a lifelong Islanders fan that he's at 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see anybody that supersedes him.
I did the math on Mike Bossy. If he stays at whatever it was, 0.762 goals per game, and plays as many games as Wayne Gretzky, he's got 1,133 goals.
1,133.
Gretzky played 1,487.
Oh, wow, 14.
Yeah.
So obviously you would never keep that clip up, but even if he's 0.76 for the front half and he's half of that number on the back half, it's still 850 goals.
Yeah. I would say I'm not doing that much math.
Well, you don't have to.
Good little hunting over there.
I caught it.
It shouldn't surprise you that the category for trivia, which I have kept very secret because I felt like there was too much research going on in the background.
Yeah, no kidding.
It is going to be 50-goal seasons in honor of Mike Bossy, which I think most people think about. But rest in peace, Mike Bossy, one of the absolute greats.
You know what was actually fun? Remember the TV show The Raccoons?
Yes.
So he was involved in that show.
Mike Bossy was involved.
Mike Bossy was involved. He was like a special sort of information. So they had a French version where it's like Le Raccoons de Hockey. And the number one and the lead character wears number 22 in honor of Mike.
I remember they released, I'm going to say it was about 96 or 97, the Legends of Hockey video series, which I think they should redo.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because it's tough to find some of those too, and they could just do it better now and have so many different legends that could be a part of it. But in the Mike Bossy episode, Bill Torrey came to him, and he didn't like the original contract offer that the Islanders had made. And Mike Bossy said, that's not really a great offer for somebody who's going to score you 50 goals. So as a rookie, he's coming in basically calling a shot. And Bill Torrey says, no, but Mike, if you could get me 20, 25 goals, I'd be extremely happy. And he said, no, I'm going to get you 50.
Right.
And then sure enough, in his mind, he said after the fact that his goal was always to play 10 years and score 50 goals every year. And he was disappointed that he didn't get, he had the 38 in the final year, which, 38 goals, my God. Like, talk about not going out in a whimper.
Most people are happy with 38 goals.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I would suspect.
Also, most consecutive hat tricks with 3.
Wow.
And 44 hat tricks. Like he's on the list, right? I mean, Gretz's number is insane, but
let me see if I can find it.
Gretzky would be, I think, 50? You think it was 60?
No, I don't think it's that high. No.
I feel like it's 50 on the nose just because that's how hockey works, weirdly.
That's true.
Yeah, Rapid Robert yelling profanity.
Rapid Robert claims that he played against Wayne Gretzky in a Quebec City tournament and Mike Bossy. 3
or more goal games in a career. Wayne Gretzky exactly 50.
Yeah.
Lemieux at 40, Bossy at 39.
Interesting.
Bossy at 39. I thought
I think they're only tabulating regular season.
Oh, regular season.
Highest active is Ovechkin with 28.
Which is still crazy, too. Well, how funny was it to see that the Maple Leafs lay it on the Capitals? There's 10 goals scored in the game, and neither Matthews or Ovechkin score.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you would just assume there would have been firewagon, the two of them.
The Alexander Ovechkin tie into this scenario is that he's at 46 right now. If he gets to 50, he then has his 9th 50-goal season, which would tie him with Wayne and Mike Bossy. So.
That's right. Yeah. I'm really happy with the way the Leafs have gone. I know that we didn't really plan on talking Leafs necessarily, but Nylander's at 30. I like that.
Look up and down the roster. Like
Mikheyev's got, what did he get, 18 there last night?
People are maybe sour on Tavares not being near 40, but for a second-line center?
Second-line center, yeah.
He's going to get you, whatever.
Same with Nylander. Now, all of a sudden, narrative has changed now on things like last spring it was Mitch. Mm-hmm. Let's kill him. Let's sacrifice and debowel him right on Bremner Avenue. Now the guy's got 30 goals. The kid's a stud. Nylander at 2, 30-goal scorer, $6 million, not to mention the fact that he's never going to play on the top line. He's always going to be behind Mitchie.
Yeah.
I'm on record. It's going to happen this year. Jack Campbell, not soft. Look at the way Tom Wilson. And Jack gives a guy like Tom the benefit of the doubt. Come on.
I don't know.
Come on. That's his game. Give me a break. Hard in, shoulders out, mask comes off. Give me a break.
The members of my movie club who are watching right now, which my buddy Matt is in, he loved your Le Raccoons the hockey.
Yeah, that's right.
He's also a francophone, so he was,
so that's part of that's ingrained in him. And Le Chandai.
He also thought it's kind of an odd power move that Rapid Roberts just chiming in from the background there, which is a little strange.
Oh, that's a weird one. This is like ESPN.
What we want, right?
Yeah, this is college game day here. You can't just see like all the people that are sitting over there. My son's here, his girlfriend's here. Hello.
So, Clayton Kershaw.
Yes.
What are we doing here? Is it as easy?
I'm interested on your take
Listen,
here.
Is it as easy as pitchers are used to having a longer spring training, getting more innings, and blah, blah, blah? Or is this just a byproduct of coaches killing baseball because that's what's been happening the last 10 years?
Interesting narrative. Okay. Let's go the other way for a sec.
For context, Clayton Kershaw had a perfect game through 7 innings, only 80 pitches. Dave Roberts gives him the hook. Kershaw's cool with it. It's all good.
Dodgers win.
Yeah.
It was 9-0. It was a laugher anyways.
Yep.
Okay. Clayton comes out for the 8th. 20 more pitches, is that going to wreck his arm? No. I mean, the guy was already dealing. You get through 8, and I think they were at the 4th spot in the lineup. So he was going to face 4, 5, 6. Chances are you get through that inning, you're going to get 7, 8 in the DH. You're in, probably. Okay, so the guy's dealing through 7, fine. He comes out, throws 20 pitches. He comes out of the game with elbow soreness. Season's over. Bang. Was it really worth it? It's hard to chase down history from a historical aspect. The guy's won a World Series. He's won an MVP. Multiple Cy Youngs.
He's basically done everything
He's
except
done everything but the perfect game. So I don't mind it. I'm okay with it. It'll never stand in the history books. You'll remember that he threw the 7 innings, and he wasn't the only one. What did Darvish have? Well, I guess Darvish lost his in the 6th or whatever it was. I don't like it, but I can live with it.
Judging by his history, you know that he's somebody who, the last number of years, they've been careful with him.
Yeah. And
he's older.
He's older, sure.
Mid-30s.
Yeah.
My thing is I hate, and this is a bigger conversation, but I hate the arbitrary nature of 100 pitches are our thing, so we need to worry about it.
No kidding.
I heard and David Cohn has his own podcast, and he talked about this on a different subject, but it was the same point that was being made, which is, hey, there's times where you're in a pressure-packed playoff game where you're gassed after 85 pitches.
Absolutely, no kidding.
Because everything's from the stretch, everything is weighing on it. He said there were times during the summer where you're carefree where you wouldn't feel anything till 150 pitches.
Sure.
And then people will throw the Nolan Ryan memes around about how he had 234 pitches and pitched the next day.
It's a different animal.
And not even that, but and to me, that makes so much sense. So again, they have a lot of data that I'm sure we're not privy to, but the idea of 100 needing to be the thing, because you see more pitchers now are injured than probably ever before.
So, so going on that point, there's a few things here that bother me. There's either the torque on the arm can't be any different, the release angles. I mean, these guys have got this right down to a science now.
Spin rates
and nonsense. And the guys have been throwing curveballs and knucklers and spitballs and everything with spin rates at today's, maybe not at today's level, but certainly very close throughout history. The difference with a guy like Ryan or I remember Dennis Martinez famously saying, when we were kids, we'd go down, and if we didn't have enough baseballs, we'd fill the bucket with baseballs and rocks. Then we'd throw it against an old barn door till our arms were tired, and then we went home. Then we went and did the same thing the next day. So it's a little bit different. What if it wasn't Kershaw? What if it's the 5th starter? It's Julio Urias or whatever his name is.
I think Dave Roberts leaves him in.
Does he?
Probably.
Isn't that a heck of a thing? We're gonna watch you, Walker Buehler. We're gonna watch you, Clayton. But hey, number 5 dude, who may never get this shot again.
It's a Lloyd's of London insurance policy where it's I don't want to be the manager to tax out Clayton Kershaw with World Series expectations. Although I always think of the bigger storyline of Major League Baseball, which is there's only been 23 perfect games in more than, 220,000 games?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a rare thing. So I would have loved to have seen him take his shot.
Same.
Yeah, Jeff Passan had that take on Twitter. Saying
Jeff Passan?
Passan,
Passan? I don't know.
Passan.
Yeah, liberal.
Microphone.
Whatever. Who cares? He says if it's a no-hitter or whatever, yank him. Kershaw's thrown one of those before. But yeah, there's been 23 perfect games. We haven't had one in 10 years.
Is that right?
We had 3 in 2012.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a year where everybody did
6 in a 5-year span then.
I can understand the implication historically. I can also understand Roberts pulling him after 8. I think there is a bit here where the data is killing baseball.
Yes.
Like how you doing, Tampa Bay Rays? How's that taste? Blake Snell dealing after 5 and we lose.
One of the most scrutinized World Series decisions you'll probably ever have.
But again, at the same, I can appreciate that if you're going to live by the sword the entire season. Well, when it comes to game time, you can't go with gut feel if you've been using metric data the entire season.
I just think scenarios play out differently when you run them through a computer 5,000 times and tell you the maximum way to do it versus, oh, wow, we're in a short 7-game series. So maybe there's some randomness that we need to attribute for.
There's still got to be a gut feel aspect. Yeah. This is still a human element game. You're not playing it on the PlayStation.
No. One thing that I would like to play on the PlayStation is the Raptors and Sixers.
How many
4-5 matchup.
How many times would this have to play out in a scenario where you would think, like, the Raptors, it's possible they'd sweep them?
Ooh, sweep the... Yeah, no.
Right? Never.
It would be difficult.
Like, every metric's going to be 6-7 games. This is going to be a dogfight.
The only time that would happen is if you were playing video games and then you were constantly, resetting the game if you were losing until you won 4 straight. But here's the thing. Do you like the NBA play-in tournaments thing? Because I still have a difficulty wrapping my head around what exactly is happening. I guess it's exciting in those markets. It was nice to see New Orleans and Minnesota, 2 teams being super excited. But I don't know. As a casual viewer watching on television, they don't feel like playoff games.
I think there's an aspect to that for those, when are you going to get the shining light on Charlotte or New Orleans or, Atlanta's different with Trey, but
they'll get it from New Orleans after they beat the Clippers and then they sweep Phoenix.
I just love the Boston Celtics finish. We're just going to ignore that because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, thank you.
I just love the Boston Celtics have this amazing regular season. They're a number 2 seed, and here you get the Brooklyn Nets in the first round of the playoffs.
Right. Now that's not that's not going to be an easy out.
No, for sure.
I do like the play-in aspect, kind of, just from the made-for-TV thing, because that's what it is, right? That's what it is.
I don't like it for the fact that, and I'm a Pelicans fan. The Pelicans, if they beat the Clippers, they go into the playoffs at 36-46.
Yeah.
Get that out of here.
Right.
That's awful.
That's the thing.
That's always a problem, right?
And
it's
the
always a
NBA
problem.
seed is barely breaking 500 most of the time.
Right.
Raptors and 76ers, Shaquille O'Neal got Raptors Twitter on fire when he said the 76ers are going to sweep Toronto.
Give me a break. Get out of here with that.
I think Toronto wins at least 2. Jurassic Park's going to be back. There's going to be energy in the building. We know there's some vaccine issues to one of the key Philadelphia defenders.
Yeah.
So I think the Raptors at least make it a little bit of a series. Ultimately, I think Philadelphia is way too talented.
I think Philadelphia's got the star power. I think the Toronto Raptors are the grinders. I think they can grind it out.
Better coaching, too.
Better coaching, I would agree.
Are we worried about Nick Nurse being lured to La La Land? There's a lot of rumors that the Lakers are going to be kicking the tires on him in the offseason.
You think Masai doesn't call down to Pelinka and say, listen, you keep Nick's name out of your mouth?
So I'm glad you mentioned Masai, though. Just one quick point, Matt, and then you can jump in here.
Yeah.
Until Masai Ujiri looked around the lay of the land and chose to stay in Toronto, because there was always rumors about him, right? Where's he going to go next and all this stuff. Up until then, as a Raptor fan, you're conditioned to think that anything good is going to leave. Damon Stoudemire wants out. Vince Carter wants out. Chris Bosh ends up leaving. You've just seen it time and time and time again. Kawhi Leonard, perfect example. Now all of a sudden, Masai says, no, I'm staying here. I like the culture and stuff. So now as a Raptor fan, I'm sort of looking at that as a little bit more of a template. Plus Nick Nurse, I mean, do you want to go and coach LeBron and then have him fire you in 2 years?
Yeah,
if that's the way it sort of shakes out. But from a Lakers standpoint, it doesn't surprise me because I think Nick Nurse tactically is probably the best coach in the NBA right now.
Absolutely,
I
would agree.
He was an assistant to Dwayne Casey.
Yes.
I remember when he was named the head coach, I was like, all right, well, he's an assistant. It's go with what you know.
People were angry. LeBron James himself, who likes to weigh in on all these issues, said, oh, it's ridiculous. Of course, a lot of that had to do with black man being fired for white man.
Sure.
And Dwayne Casey was a really good coach, but don't tell me they might not win that championship with Dwayne Casey, with all due respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nick Nurse, I think we put respect on him and what he was able to do.
I think Casey on the defensive side of the ball was probably an expert.
Yeah.
Stellar. And that's what got him, if you can play defense first, then we can learn how to score type thing. You can't always learn how to defend.
Was he fired after being named Coach of the Year? Do I remember that right?
I think it was 1 year out.
Yes.
Because I know Sam Mitchell got fired shortly after winning Coach of the Year.
Yeah. The Raps have there's certainly like a colored past before. And you had the whole Vince Carter thing, and he's fighting with the GM and all this other thing. The thing for me with the Raps is I think all the pressure's on Philadelphia. Like for a 4 seed, where if you're the number 1 seed and you've got the Boston Celtics, and you got a hot 7 in Brooklyn, or it could be a hot 7 in Brooklyn with Kyrie and Durant, but isn't the entire focus going to be on Philadelphia?
It absolutely is, especially with the Harden acquisition. And there's already rumors that that's not a great situation.
Right.
Well, and it's a redemption arc for them, too, after the Kawhi shot.
Sure.
Although it's 3 years later, but for them, that's in the back of all of their mind.
Different team, but I think for a guy like Embiid, who he stood at the top of the mountain, he averaged 30 points a game. I don't believe he should win the MVP. I'm a LeBron mark, and that's fine, but 30 points a game at 37 years old, you're not even going to talk me out of that.
Are you implying that LeBron should win the MVP on a team that finished with 33 wins?
I know the pair of you. I guarantee you're not laughing at that take.
Oh, no, I'm laughing at Jordan because he's a LeBron hater. I like LeBron.
Hold on.
Without LeBron, that team wins 10 games.
Yeah.
You can't make an argument for someone to win an MVP award when their team misses even the play-in game.
Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah.
Baseball's different.
Okay.
Here we go.
Baseball is different.
Okay. So you're telling me that...
Even in baseball, I don't love it.
Shout out David Logal, who this is his take.
Frank Vogel?
David, who is the Capital PTBO researcher. There's LeBron fatigue in this league. He's 37. If at 37 years old, you had Kobe Bryant at 37, RIP, but if you had Kobe at 37 hitting 30 points a night average, it wouldn't even be talked about MVP. It would be who's finishing second.
This is
But because
insane.
it's LeBron, no, it's not.
First of all, your Kobe Bryant is probably not true because he only won 1 MVP in his entire career.
He only deserved 1. How many scoring titles, Latour? Let's put that up here.
Kobe had like a 35. Maybe that's the year that
A
he won it.
35 average?
Yeah.
In a pig's rear, he did.
He did 1 season.
What, maybe for 1 month?
No.
Kobe.
I'm getting it.
Mark, you're about to get embarrassed.
First off,
take it easy.
LeBron James should have 10 MVPs.
Take it easy.
Right now.
Thank you.
The LeBron fatigue, I agree with,
Okay.
but I think it made sense 5 years ago. Not now. He should have won the MVP that Derrick Rose won. No one argues that.
Sure.
He probably, again, like the great players, you could make a case for him having 10 MVPs, just like Michael Jordan.
He's 37.
I understand, but how does that factor into what he's doing against the peers that are being compared for the award?
Kobe Bryant, 0506, 35.4 points per game.
Okay, MVP?
I don't know.
No.
Why doesn't basketball reference have the award?
That's a Steve Nash year, isn't it?
That would,
05,
I think
06?
that would be a Steve Nash year. He does win an MVP.
So what you're telling me, and Kobe would have been, do the math here, 24?
Probably.
I already
Mid-20s.
left the page. I'm looking up MVP winners now.
37.
I know, and I'm not...
When Kobe was 37, he had 17 points per game.
Okay, so what? But it
0506
doesn't
was
matter.
Steve Nash. Yeah, his second one.
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying to you. I can be impressed, but then there's also the argument that somebody's got to score on a bad team. I've seen Danny Granger average 25 points per game.
It's the most valuable player to his team.
Yes.
If LeBron's
But if your
not
team doesn't
there,
get into the playoffs,
that's not
then
a
how
caveat.
valuable are
That's
you?
not a condition.
okay, but neither is that he's 37. That
Oh,
shouldn't
what do
be.
you mean from a historical aspect? This is
Insanity right
he's
here.
putting home runs into the river like Barry.
We're not even going to get into the fact that he doesn't even play defense anymore and he stinks.
Oh my gosh.
But I agree with the LeBron fatigue. No,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
LeBron
100%.
averaged a career high in blocks per game this season.
So?
Yeah, you're right. On a bad team, you don't need the guy
You
with
guys are
blocks.
insane.
His lowest turnovers per game in 7 years.
Arbitrary number.
He
Arbitrary.
he recommits himself to D.
Oh.
He's the number one guy offensively every
Can't even
night.
say that with a straight face.
He's got gray in his beard, but not you this year, LeBron.
Most
not
steals per
you.
game in 5 years that he's had.
Not you, LeBron. It's not you.
Now, he didn't pass as much this year.
Oh, who's he going to pass
6.2
to?
per
Mercier's
game.
point, who's he going to pass to?
My favorite
Russ?
thing, just because we're doing this,
Yeah.
is LeBron James, Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
Anthony Davis probably ends up in the Hall of Fame. Probably.
I hate Anthony
Russell
Davis.
Westbrook, probably. Former MVP. Dwight
ISO.
Howard, probably.
Oh, my God.
Okay, that Westbrook MVP is one that he should
Now
have won
listen.
either. And right.
To the
ISO.
point I'm making
Yeah.
is that Michael Jordan on the Wizards in his last season played on a team that finished with a better record than this Lakers team, and he had like friggin' old Jerry Stackhouse and Ty Lue.
You watch your mouth with Kobe or with Kwame Brown. You had Kwame Brown.
He did have Kwame Brown on that team.
And what are you saying?
I'm just saying that this Lakers team was historically disappointing, and the fact that you think LeBron James should get his 5th MVP award because of that is insanity. It's insane.
So
Do we get any comments over there? I feel like this is just
is
fiery.
everybody all chiming in on Mark's side here?
Too much research.
we actually haven't
being
had
done.
anything on this debate. Shane wants to know why he didn't get an invite to the store today behind closed doors.
Look, we're not open today.
He
but-
saw Rapid Robert
behind-
lurking
yeah.
around in the background.
Well, we did have just a couple of things.
He also
Shane
drives
Sayer,
me around.
he should understand that I would open the doors for him. I'd drive in for him.
I was going to take the MVP debate into a different direction, which is Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Those are the two that I think are probably going to be the front runners.
Yeah.
Embiid, the first center to win the scoring title since Shaquille O'Neal.
Sure.
And the first, couldn't believe this, center to average 30 points per game since Moses Malone.
Yeah, Moses Malone.
Shout out. I mean, what he did is pretty impressive. He's
Jokic, I can't get, and this is going to be a weird take, I understand. I can't get behind this, like,
lazy, slow white guy, but he's just making everyone foolish.
yeah, right. I can't.
You're not the only one that
I
can't
can't
figure him out.
appreciate that. Like, I don't know why I can't.
You should.
I can't. I know I should. Same with like Doncic. I can't get behind him being a master of basketball. I can't.
Well,
And I don't know if it is like an old slow white thing because I love Larry and whatever, and Larry would dominate today too.
Jeff Hornacek, like you're not against it.
Dan Marley, like everybody
Thunder
that used
Dan
to,
Marley?
Yeah, everybody that used to hit threes, but
Wow,
a
the famous
throwback.
quote was that they brought in the 3-point line so that white guys could stay in, for sure.
Easy now.
Danny Ainge, former
Danny
Toronto Blue
Ainge,
Jay.
yeah, former hurler.
One of the few athletes who played basketball and baseball as a double sport.
I'm a Nikola Jokic stan. I love this guy.
Really?
His passport photo looks just like my passport photo, just like a chubby
The
white
point
guy.
that was made by Kevin Durant, who probably would have won the MVP had he not got injured, was, and again, I don't agree with this because I think you look at seasons in a vacuum, but his point was, boy, to get 2 in a row is such a rare thing in the NBA that even though Jokic's numbers this year are really good, it's not like they're too different from what he did last year, which was a historical season. But he thinks that in order to get that second straight, you need to really kind of vaunt yourself up there.
Yeah.
So that's why he's going with Embiid in this debate for MVP. You don't get too many back-to-backs. I mean, we've seen it with Duncan, we've seen it with LeBron, we've seen it with Nash. Which is kind of random, but
Curry and Giannis.
a lot of one-offs though in there too. And we just talked about Shaq and Kobe and Dirk, and
Well, it's
they
like
only
the
got
perfect
one.
example of that. You got to go above and beyond after you win it. Is Russell Westbrook. He got it because he averaged a triple-double, and then he just kept doing that and nobody cared.
I think maybe that's my problem too with a little bit of the NBA. Like he ISO ball champs for a whole year, right? He puts triple doubles on the board. Like I don't know, like the historical, like Oscar Robertson had 60 in a career, and then Russ puts up 50 in a season. Come on, that's not good for the sport. That's not elevating his team in any sort of way.
Well, to me, it shows you how counting stats and box scores can fool you because
Absolutely,
Well, you
yeah.
watch the game and he flies in and elbows Steven Adams in the face to get his rebound. Like
right.
that's what
To
that
get
whole
his-
season was.
To get his 10th rebound so that he can understand now that he can go to the bench and there's 5 minutes to play and they're getting beat by
And
20.
he's passing it on a fast break to get that 10th assist too.
You guys got me fired up with this.
Holy smokes.
We got angry.
Unbelievable.
I had no idea. No idea that you're such an anti-LeBron, Mark.
Oh, I definitely am anti-LeBron, but I think
Jordan
in this case it's a measured take.
Jordan's been waiting for this LeBron season his whole life. Before he even knew who LeBron James was.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I miss him being in those spots because it was worth to have the adversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
When all of a sudden I'm looking at Phoenix and Milwaukee and Denver and these teams, Brooklyn, I guess, would have that sort of feel. Philly, I just have never liked Philly teams in any way, shape, or form. But I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, it was kind of fun to have LeBron there to root against.
Sure.
Like I was like a hardcore. I mean, obviously he beat Indiana probably 5 or 6 times in the playoffs, but
job, yeah.
I never cheered for another team that wasn't my team more than the Spurs those couple of years where I was like, Timmy D, you know I'm a Timmy D, Mark. You want to talk Timmy D?
Oh, my God, give me a break.
6th greatest player ever?
Easy
You're
now.
Just digging in on all your takes today.
Yeah.
I'm taking on all comers.
I like. I'm on the other side of it. I want the legacy aspect. I want LeBron to win 10 MVPs. That's what I want. I want him to 8 straight rounds. I want him to go to the finals 10 years in a row.
I think you need
That's
to
what I
resign
want.
yourself to the fact that he's never going to win another MVP because he's not going to play enough games, I don't think, in a season.
That's what I'm. You're right. Yes.
And
correct.
I mean, he's got 4 championships. The bubble one is sort of like, eh.
I know the bubble one is.
The bubble one feels a little cheap.
Yeah.
But you got to beat who's in front of you.
I still sustain that the bubble championship's tough.
It's hard, but it's hard for a different reason.
For stepping over a line to pick up Uber Eats orders.
Listen, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's different, and therefore it will be looked at differently in context. Because again, you don't need to go on the road. You don't need to play against rabid fans, and that's part of the energy in the building, right? Especially in the NBA, home teams matter more than almost just about every. It's weird. Statistically, they get more calls. They see their role players play better at home, feeding off the energy in the crowd.
Right.
And it matters more in that sport than probably anything else.
Oh, no kidding.
And I think if we had time to do a deep dive on that, I think stats would kind of bear that out. All right. It is time for the Flashback Friday quiz.
Before that,
yes,
1925 World Series.
Ooh, 1925. I'm thinking that's Pittsburgh Pirates, and that's over the Washington Senators.
How many games?
7 games. And Walter Johnson.
They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Can you believe it?
Here's strike ball 1. Here comes the pitch. Strike 3. A no-hitter, a perfect game for John Larson.
Henderson made a wild stab towards the bell. Here's another shot right by the door. And he's done. And scores for Canada.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
We're seeing what this guy is really made of. What he is. The greatest professional athlete in the world today. Look at this. He's I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Before I was rudely interrupted, I was going to say Walter Johnson lost Game 7 in that particular series to the Pittsburgh Pirates. But, yeah, you keep bringing on the World Series slot machine. By the way, my wife didn't know that I could do that. So when we played the clip for her when we were driving to the grocery store, she thought it was total work. Like I would have the list in front of me or something.
Oh, no.
She goes at and fires me a bunch. I go 18 of 18 and then 16 of 18 on the specific games.
Come on.
And she didn't know it, but she was picking pretty like milestone years, like 61 and 32 and like.
What date in 1925 did Pittsburgh win the World Series?
October 12th.
15th, you suck. Get out of here.
All right, the category, gentlemen, and anyone playing along, please do. The category here, in honor of the legacy of Mike Bossy, 50-goal seasons in the National Hockey League. Here we go. Let's do it. Everybody knows that the first player to score 50 goals in a season was Maurice Rocky Richard. He did so in 1944-45. Ironically, didn't win the Hart Trophy that year. Finished runner-up to, I believe, Elmer Locke.
Correct.
Or Toe Blake, one of them. A lot of people know that he was the first. Who was the second?
Ooh.
Who was the second player to score 50 goals in a season?
1961.
Bang on the year.
So it's not Maurice Richard again.
No.
It's not the Rocket. He did get to 45 again, but never 50.
It is going to be the Golden Jet.
No.
Bobby Hull scored 60 goals. What do you mean?
No.
Oh, my God. Oh, you're right.
You're right
Sheesh.
on the season.
Yeah.
It's 60-61.
60-61, and it's not. It's a Montreal Canadian.
It is.
Yeah.
61? Oh.
Sheesh.
Now, Hull goes buck wild the next few years after
Yeah.
this and is the first player to get past 50 on the nose. He gets 52 and 54.
61, you said? Like 60, 61?
Yes.
Okay, if you
Boom
don't,
Boom?
I have it.
Who's that?
Boom Boom Jeffrey?
It is Boom Boom Jeffrey
Yeah.
who always had a little bit of friction because, remember, he wins the scoring title when Richard gets suspended.
Yeah.
And the fans
They
didn't care for
take
that
to him, yeah.
because he was kind of like, hey, you stole, because Roger Richard never won a scoring title.
That's right.
And he was going to
stole his
win one
thunder.
that year.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't blame Boom Boom because what do? Just sit out? Like,
Yeah, or not score on purpose. Sure.
that's crazy.
Would
to
Hull have
think
been,
that.
I guess he would have been the first non-Hab to get 50 then?
Yes.
Well, he was the third guy, yeah.
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 Who has the most career goals without registering a 50-goal season?
Oh,
Who has the most career goals
jeepers,
without
this is a sneaky one because
registering a 50-goal season?
there's like a streak there in the 90s where everybody got 50 goals. Like legit.
Ray
like
Shepard, Adam
Yeah,
Graves.
right. There's you go down the list, the guys that scored 50. Is this guy a 700 goal scorer?
He has 700 goals.
Michael Gartner.
No.
Oh, jeepers.
I think Gardner either got to 50 once or
Yeah,
whatever.
see, and that's why I thought it was tricky. He might be one of those guys in the early 90s.
I'm looking up Gartner stats here.
Did you pull my cord?
There you go.
There we go. We're back.
Toggle problems.
Uh-oh.
Toggle problems.
Yeah, Gartner had a 50 on the nose in 80-45. Oh, gosh, I have no idea.
Gardner was like Johnny 35 goal man, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Is it,
Like 15 straight 30 goals or something ridiculous.
it's not like Marcel Dion, is it?
No. He laughed at 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeepers.
This one's going to make you both fall down.
Yeah. Well, who else is laying around here? Oh. Gordie Howe.
Gordon Howe.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Gordy.
Jeepers. Come on, Mark.
801 overall, of course,
Step
second
out.
all time.
Yeah.
And 49 was the
Yeah.
most he ever had in a season. It's a weird stat. It's almost like Hank Aaron never had 50
Never
home
hit
runs.
50 home runs, yeah.
Wow.
Just
okay.
consistent, man.
Yeah.
Here we go. Question number 3. Who are the two non-Canadian players, and I mean that nationally, not Montreal, to have at least 5 50-goal seasons? Who are the two non-Canadian players
Alex Ovechkin.
to have at least 5 50-goal seasons? Alexander Ovechkin is number 1. He's got 8.
Correct. Give me...
And we're not including Brett Hull, who is Canadian. Who played
yeah,
for the
Belleville,
US.
Ontario. Ooh. Good.
This one's good. This one's making me tingly.
That's weird. Okay, the other guy at 50 goals, he is Yari Curry. No.
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah,
He had 4.
Yeah.
He had 4. That's a good guess.
Is it Yager?
Oh.
It is not.
No.
I was disappointed to find out he only had 3 50-goal seasons. I wanted more from him.
This guy, a former Winnipeg Jet.
Oh, no.
No, so if you have to think about it now.
No. It is not Tomas Steen.
No, I was thinking it was Keith Kachuk.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, because Keith
He had a 50 in there. Yeah, he had a couple 50s.
He had some dirty years in Winnipeg. I thought it might have been one of those things. There's probably people at home.
If
like
I give you the
screaming.
nationality-
Is it Timu Solani?
It is not. He came close, though. I think he had 3. If I give you nationality,
Is he Russian?
he is. He was born in the Soviet Union.
Pavel Bure?
I was going to say Pavel Bure.
It is the Russian rocket, Pavel Bure, who had 2 60s back-to-back, too.
the Russian Rocket.
Yep.
Sheesh.
Is that 2-1?
2-1.
All right, here we go. We're continuing the trivia on this Flashback Friday, and the category is 50-goal seasons. Most 50-goal seasons by a non-cup winner.
Most 50-goal seasons by a non-cup
So someone
winner.
in their career who did not win the
A
Stanley, Cup.
Cup.
Marcel Dion?
Came flying right at you right there.
Jeepers, no kidding. Right in the chops.
I only know Marcel Dion stats because he has a restaurant in Niagara Falls, and I've met him a few times.
Is it called?
So did a lot of research. It's
He
called,
took
I think, the Blue Line Diner. It's quite good.
He took a lot of heat for leaving Quebec to play his junior hockey.
Yeah.
Like to the point where the one year, I think they canceled the Memorial Cup or something where there was just like threats being made.
Really?
I'm serious. If you...
Because he played, did he play
a story
in St.
like that's
Catharines?
got
That's got to be true. Yeah. And we don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, he played in St. Catharines. Like he was one of the few high-profile French Canadians who decided to go play in Ontario.
The Teepees.
Yeah.
The Blackhawks.
Last but not least here, the first player ever to have 5 or more 50-goal seasons.
The first.
To have 5 or more 50-goal seasons. The list is extremely small. This was the first individual to do it.
You want to go first since I went first last time?
Oh, that smells like confidence over there, doesn't
I know,
it?
doesn't it?
Hey? He's all like he's gonna go Marcel Dion again for
He's
the third time.
smelling himself.
And if it's Marcel Dion, I'm gonna smash your phone. Like honestly.
I would never have 2 questions with the same answer.
I should have known better. Jeepers, there's one guy I'm thinking, but I don't know if he would have done it 5 times. I will jump out first and say Philip Esposito.
Nailed it.
Is that it?
Yeah. He was a machine.
Yeah, he was a machine.
Wow.
Disgusting machine. Good for you guys.
Yeah, good for you, Latour. Like, I'm tired of winning. Like,
Sorry, is that 4 weeks unbeaten in trivia for me?
okay, you could like, what do you count?
clean
What do you
month?
count by 2s? Easy now.
No.
That's
Listen,
3, and
listen.
it's like the Lord's Day, so I gave you one here.
Listen, no, whoa. We got World Cup, WrestleMania. We tied last week on opening day.
What? Tied?
We tied. Check the record books.
I already I don't listen to the show after the show, but I already know that I won last week.
It was a dead tie.
I think we went 3-3-1, and you cheated on the 1 because you got like a comment or something.
Yeah.
I watched.
That seems about right.
No, it was a tie.
Anyhow,
Roll back the tape.
bracketology.
Yes.
Jeepers. 2 spots left. If you want to play, it's going to be terrific. If you've already messaged me and said, hold me a spot, we're doing that. It is $10 to get in. The $10 is going to serve its purpose. Trust me, you'll be very happy. We're not keeping it. We're going to give you something with it. It's going to be worth it. So let's Good Friday. Somebody's waving here saying they've like bought the last 2 spots or he's leaving or whatever the case is.
Something's going on over there.
Anyways, 2 spots remaining. If you want to play the game, get after me.
Boys, this was fun. Check us out, the Capital PTBO, online, thecapitalptbo.ca or 370 George Street. When we're allowed to open, make sure to pop by and see us. Mark, Matt, thank you so much,
Gentlemen.
boys.
Thank you.
All right, we'll do this again next week.